Welcome back. We're days away from UFC 323. Dvalishvili versus Yan 2. It's time for me to break down every single fight on this card. If you haven't seen, we did a best bets episode on sparring sessions and a full event breakdown over there. So if you haven't seen, go watch those. I think by the time I post this, the event breakdown should be out, but it might just be best bets out right now. Interesting order, but listen, let me jump right into it. I did this whole video already, a 30-minute long video, just to realize my microphone was off. This is not a new thing. This has happened a couple times when I'm recording videos, and I hate it. I need to figure this shit out. I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not going to go for 30 minutes this time. I got to go a bit faster. So let me just jump right into it. First fight of the night, we've got Muhammad Naimov versus Myron Santos. I'm saying Myron Santos is a bit too much for Muhammad Naimov to deal with. Naimov has never been too desirable. I think Myron Santos is able to stop the takedowns and beat him up on the feet, and I don't really think there's a threat of the knockout from Muhammad Naimov. Despite him getting knocked down by Francis Marshall, that's Myron Santos. Despite Myron Santos getting knocked down by Francis Marshall, he worked his way back in the fight, had a good fight, and I don't think Muhammad Naimov's knocking him out. Saying Myron Santos, decision. Moving on. Mansur Abdul Malik versus Antonio Tricoli. Free leg. Mansur Abdul Malik, TKO in the first 2 rounds. Moving on. Ibo Aslan versus Iwo Baraniwski. Ibo Aslan, 14-3. Baraniwski's debuting in the UFC at 6-0 off of Contender Series, where he beat Muhammad Ali. 4-0 prospects, Muhammad Ali. 4-inch reach advantage for Ibo Aslan against Baraniwski. Got that regional height, or a regional reach going with 73.6. That's probably going to get marked down by the time he gets in the cage. I could see that being like 72, maybe. I think Baraniwski is going to knock out Ibo Aslan, though, who's lost his last 2 fights, has looked undesirable. I think Baraniwski puts him out of there, TKO in the first 2 rounds. Again, if it seems like I'm rushing, I kind of am rushing. I just did a whole... I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm upset. I did a full 30-minute breakdown. Good energy, good video. Just to realize the microphone was off. I gotta move on. Listen, Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner is the next fight. Out of retirement, Jalen Turner against an Edson Barbosa. And I've been hearing people say Jalen Turner's a lock. They're confidently picking Jalen Turner to finish Edson Barbosa. You cannot be confident in Jalen Turner off of retirement. It's still Edson Barbosa, guys. You know, it's still Edson Barbosa. He did not look good against Ricardo Close. Leron Murphy, I think he had a moment where he rocked him with a head kick, or an up kick, I think it was, maybe. But Leron Murphy pitched a shutout pretty much despite that. I think Jalen Turner wins this fight. I think it's going to be a decision. But anyone telling you they're confident in Jalen Turner, or they're confident in him to get a finish, they're out of their mind. Jalen Turner wins, though, I think. Decision. We move on. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. 19-8-1 Vettori, 14-2 Ferreira. I've got Ferreira winning this one. I could potentially... I know Vettori's never been knocked out before. I understand. But he's never fought Ferreira, you know? At some point, there is a time in a fighter's career where the first knockout of their career can happen. And this is a fight where it could totally... Ferreira could definitely chin Marvin Vettori. But honestly, I see Ferreira going for the finish a bit too heavy in the first 2 rounds. He might blow his load, might end up gassing, and Vettori comes back in the third. But Ferreira wins the split decision. I'm saying Ferreira split decision is the official pick. Kind of an interesting one, but I'm more confident in a Ferreira split decision than telling you he's going to crack the chin of Marvin Vettori. I could see him just gassing out like he did against Abus Magomedov and kind of not looking amazing the rest of the fight. So that's the pick. Ferreira versus Nazim Sadikov is the next one. 17-4 Ferreira, 11-1-1 Sadikov. You got Ferreira on a 5-fight win streak before he lost to Terrence McKinney. Was his last loss, I think. Interesting way the world works there. You know, I'd think Ferreira would knock out Terrence McKinney very early on, but no. 6-inch reach advantage for Ferreira. 3-inch height advantage as well. Going to be massive compared to Nazim Sadikov. And Nazim Sadikov had a scrap with Nicholas Mata. Got put to a knee in the first round. Nearly put out. I don't like that for him. I think Ferreira's too smart, too elusive, too good of a game planner, and he wins this fight by decision. That's the official pick. We move on to the next one up the card, which is Macy Barber versus Killer Carini Silva. 19-5 Carini Silva, 14-2 Macy Barber, who's pulled out of her last 2 fights, Rose Namajunas and Erin Blanchfield, respectively. She pulled out 5 minutes before that Erin Blanchfield fight. But right before she made the walk, 5 minutes before she made the walk. 67-inch reach versus 65 for Macy Barber. That's a 2-inch reach advantage for Carini Silva, who is the finisher. But she's only finished like unranked women's talent. It's like very overblown, her finishing potential, when she goes against anyone that's like ranked in good opposition. It goes to a decision. Vivian Araujo took her down at will. That's the game plan to beating her, Macy. Just take her down, get to those hips. Macy Barber wins this fight by decision. We move on. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan is the next one up the card. Terrence McKinney 17-7, Chris Duncan 14-2. 2-inch reach advantage for Terrence McKinney, slight underdog. But listen, I kind of see Chris Duncan getting him out of there in like the first minute. This is going under half a rounds, plus 165. Saying Chris Duncan, round 1 TKO in the first minute. This is going to be a fast, quick fight, very quick pace. Chris Duncan lands a good shot to put down Terrence McKinney in the first round. It's the official pick. We move on. Grant Dawson, the featured prelim bout. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. 23-2-1 Dawson, 16-3 Torres. Grant Dawson, he has to kind of smudge this fight out. He has to make it really grimy. He has to win this fight by decision by out-grappling Manuel Torres. He's not knocking out Manuel Torres. That's not going to happen. Manuel Torres also has an 88% takedown defense and doubles the amount of strikes Grant Dawson throws per minute. Manuel Torres wins this fight, guys. I'm taking that underdog odd all day. Manuel Torres is going to knock out Grant Dawson within the first 2 rounds. That's kind of how I see this fight going. Grant Dawson's a sitting duck on the feet. He's a cardio kickboxer at heart, and I cannot see him outstriking Manuel Torres. I cannot see him out-grappling Manuel Torres for all 3 rounds. That's too perfect, man. It's too perfect. You got a one-dimensional fighter against a dude that is like a very crisp boxer. Manuel Torres is going to knock him out bad. Second round TKO Manuel Torres. Moving on. Main card time. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. The big thing in this one is Blachowicz is nearly 43 years old. And that is kind of my red flag in this one. I do not pick fighters usually over 40 years of age. There's been some exceptions to that rule. This is not one of them. Because Guskov has the potential to knock him out. And he also has that potential to just do a bit more every round to a decision. He can outstrike Blachowicz by a couple strikes per round. Keep the grappling at bay. Remember, they're not judging just control time. Which, I mean, that was kind of Blachowicz's claim to beating Ferreira. Was just the control time he had over him in a backpack position. They're not weighing that into the decision anymore. Blachowicz doesn't really do much with his positions when he gets them. He kind of holds them. And at 43 years old, he's regressing. Bogdan Guskov is going to win this fight by decision. Could see it being a split. But Guskov is the pick here, guys. He is the pick. Especially if you're getting underdog odds for Bogdan Guskov. Which he still is sitting at an underdog. So, get your money on that. Moving on. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbott. Cejudo, Olympic gold wrestler against Peyton Talbott, a guy who did get out-wrestled by Raoni Barcelos. But he's at a 2.5-inch reach disadvantage against Talbott, 6-inch height disadvantage against Talbott. Talbott's going to look like a lightweight compared to a bantamweight against Henry Cejudo. He's going to be able to stop those takedowns, and Cejudo's offensive grappling recently has not really been the same. He's never really been like a crazy offensive grappler in his fights. He's always been more of a karate type striker on the feet, and Peyton Talbott, he's not getting hit with, I don't think he's going to get touched by Henry Cejudo with that reach advantage and the height advantage. He should be able to win this fight pretty convincingly by decision. And also, I just want to add, Henry Cejudo is announcing this as his final fight. Same with his coach. This is their final night ever in combat sports. So, I hate that when a fighter is like planning their farewell tour. It never really works out for them. I think Peyton Talbott wins this fight by a decision. We move on to the featured fight. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. 23-8-2 Moreno. 17-1 Taira. If this was a 5-rounder, it might be different. It might be different if it was a 5-rounder. Taira did gas out against Brandon Royval in a 5-rounder, lost the split decision. But Brandon Moreno, in a 3-round fight, this is interesting. He really has to be turned on immediately in this fight. And Taira, he's going to be testing that grappling. I see his grappling is incredible early on when he's got cardio in him. He's very hard to stop. I think Taira's going to out-grapple Brandon Moreno. The first 2 rounds, maybe he gasses out. But Taira wins this fight based on the first 2 rounds of grappling. He wins this fight by decision. If Brandon Moreno wins, though, that might be enough for a title shot. Maybe he needs one more after. He's getting close to another title shot, though. At some point, he will have to get another if he keeps winning. But he's taken too much damage in his career. He's only 31, nearly 32, but the amount of fights and damage he's taken, he's nearly at the end of his career, I see. And I see Taira, he's a future title holder, I think. And I think he's going to beat Brandon Moreno by decision. We move on to the co-main event, guys. Flyweight title, Pantoja versus Joshua Van. 30-5, Pantoja. 15-2, Joshua Van. 3-inch reach advantage for Pantoja. Same height, though. And you got a guy 11 years younger in Joshua Van. A lot of people think this is already like a sure thing. And listen, guys, I'm here to tell you this is a lot closer than you think. This is a lot closer than you think. When I see this fight when I think about this fight on the feet, I see Joshua Van beating up Pantoja on the feet. I've never loved Pantoja's boxing, the way he runs forward throwing hooks to the body. If you know, you know. If the way he runs forward throwing hooks to the body, I can just see Van landing a straight cross down the middle, dropping Pantoja or hurting him badly. And listen, let me just show you this. Look at what's on the screen right now. Pantoja, Erceg. Steve Erceg was kind of in the same position Joshua Van was. You know? He was in that same position. He shouldn't have got that title shot. He beat Matt Schnell. This dude doesn't belong. And what did we see? We saw a fight where Erceg was doing very good. He won the 2nd and 4th round. He did get taken down a bunch in this fight, sure. But Pantoja, that's what he has to do. He has to get control time off on Joshua Van. If Van keeps this on the feet or gets back up, he's able to outbox Pantoja on the feet. I can see him making this a grimy, close fight. Listen, he could win a split decision. He could win a close decision. But I'm picking Joshua Van to put down Pantoja in the 3rd round. I think Van is going to get the boxing going. And he might get taken down. He's going to get taken down. He's going to get taken down. He's going to get up. He's going to get back up. And he's going to outbox Pantoja. And Pantoja, in the 3rd round, he's going to try to get that takedown off. He's going to back down Van towards the fence, doing those winging hooks to the body, and Van's going to make him pay. Van's going to make him pay on the feet, and he's going to put down Pantoja and TKO him like he nearly did to Royval. If it was 10 seconds before, he would have TKO'd Royval as well. But Van, I'm done denying this dude. He's going... I've never really denied this dude. I picked him every step of the way, pretty much. Joshua Van's winning this fight. He's winning this fight. I'm saying it. He's beating Pantoja on the feet. TKOing him in the 3rd round is my official pick. Call me crazy. I don't care. That's my official pick, and I'm locked in. I'm dialed. I'm ready. If it happens, if Pantoja ever loses, you know I'm going to be on the opposition, and I'm going to be reveling in that. At a certain point, guys, if I keep picking against Pantoja and he keeps fighting, at a certain point, he's got to lose. He's got to lose, guys. But no, I really do think Joshua Van has a chance, and I'm ready to see him pass this test. I think he's going to pass this test with flying colors. And listen, Everyone's acting like Pantoja is this sure thing, lock of all locks, but just go rewatch that Steve Erceg fight. It was very close, way closer than it should have been. And if Joshua Van can instill that same game plan off, he can win this fight, I think. Saying Joshua Van, 3rd round TKO. Moving on to the main event. Dvalishvili, Jan, 2. Is this going to go the same way as it did the first time? I mean, has Petr Yan really changed? Has he really changed? Because the big thing in that first fight was that he gives up the first round. And he gave up the first round to Merab, and he was just never able to get going after that. You cannot give up the first round to Merab. This dude, by the first round of their title fight, he's already on round 6, pretty much, because he's doing a 5-round sparring session in the back. Shout out sparring sessions. Merab Dvalishvili, or Petr Yan, sorry. He's still giving up the first round. He's had 3 fights, 3 wins since Merab. He gave up the first round to Song Yadong. He did beat Davison Figueiredo in the first round, an aging Davison Figueiredo, moving up a weight class, who was 35 at the time that they fought and did not look great. And then he gave up the first round to Marcus McGee. So he has not changed at all. And to beat Merab, you have to be locked in by the time that the first horn sounds. Merab is winning this fight, guys. I cannot see it any differently. Merab has looked better and better and better and better and better and better and better every single time he's in the cage. He just nearly knocked out Corey Sandhagen on the feet. Had him rocked, had him dazed. There was no moment in that fight where I thought Corey Sandhagen was going to win. And people point to one single strike he landed in the 5th. It was a good right cross, guys. That doesn't really change it for me. That was a good strike by Corey Sandhagen. Merab still won that 5th round. Merab's winning this fight. I can't see it going any differently. Petr Yan hasn't changed enough for me to be confident. I'm confident in Merab now. I've completely flipped the switch. I used to hate this dude. I picked against him every step of the way until his last title fight against Corey Sandhagen. I was like, maybe I'll pick him this time. Maybe I'll pick him this time. Maybe I won't look like an idiot. And, you know, I looked pretty smart picking him by decision. I did look pretty smart. I'm picking him by decision again this time. Rinse and repeat. You know, if fool me once, fool me twice. I'm never getting fooled again by Merab. He's winning this fight by decision. That's the official pick, and that's the whole card. I got through it in about half the time I did the other one. So, good on me. Let's get it. Microphone working. Let me know what you think of the predictions. That's every fight on this card. If you haven't, make sure to go watch Best Bets over on Sparring Sessions. And whenever it drops, go watch the full event breakdown. We have an hour-and-a-half event breakdown coming out there. So if you're not satisfied with this 18-minute prediction video here, we got an hour-and-a-half prediction video on the Sparring Sessions channel. So go watch that. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here for more soon. See you later.